It is 7 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 4 o'clock on the West Coast. It is the 11th of June in the year of our Lord 2023. Season 13, episode 34. 634 times you have been welcomed to the Clubhouse Podcast live right here on YouTube and maybe some more places soon. You don't know. We don't know. But we'll figure it out. Welcome. My name is Rob. I am the executive producer of the Clubhouse Podcast, and you may have heard a little faint talking in the background. It is the weekend of my wife's birthday, so we say happy birthday to the lovely and talented Mrs. Irvin. Let's go around the dais that way. On your screen is the official fact checker of Sooner Gator Productions, and a man that maybe wants to turn a light on in the room behind him. You may know him as Ig Bunu, but his mama named him Don Ford. I'm going to call him Don Ford. Hey, man.
The storm just came in, but I'll get that adjusted. Lighting on the check. You know. By the way, I was busy this weekend. I did something for the fantastic Faith Ford. I went and got her a nice backyard porch swing, the two-person thing with the little canopy top. And it took me a day to put the thing together. It was a pain. Yeah. But she's happy.
Sometime you'll hear the story of when Alex and I had to put a grill together.
I can imagine. But hey, it made her happy.
Kids, buy your grills pre-assembled. Speaking of Alex, he is currently at the bottom of your screen. He is my co-host and a man who's keeping an eye on Balin for us. He is Alex.
Well, yeah, there's juggling and herding cats, but I did have to make a wardrobe selection based on one of your posts and texts earlier. So I will just take a moment to just.
Very nice. I like it.
Done in the old comic book style.
I've got one coming in the next week or so that I'm very excited about.
Oh, I just wish they had helmets for teams that mattered to me.
Oh, yeah. Again, we'll talk about that during during Tech Talk, but yes.
Which is why I wasn't saying anything further.
All right, big news from the week. And it's got people going crazy. After a year and change, the PGA and the LIV Tour are merging. And players finding out via Twitter and uproars about certain things that might have been said by one organization about the other in the past, and lots of dog paddling. And now maybe they're not going to be one, they're still going to be separate but part of the same. And just watch the news, because this story is a mess.
And that's an understatement.
Mess. Because you've got people that were promised a bunch of money that may or may not be getting all of that money. And where is the money going? Follow the money, but nobody can follow the money because nobody knows where the money's going. Just know that it's happening. And if you're worried about the CW sports being not a thing, just hold on, because they're going to be okay. Yeah. Let's get this out there and just going to say it. It's okay that the Panthers and the Heat are both down 3-1. It's okay. Because let's be real for a minute. Very few people on this planet had either of those teams going as far as they did. They were both 8 seeds and they made it to the finals. I'm cool. And we're not getting swept. I'm cool.
I did see an NBA factoid that blew my mind today.
Well, hold on. I just want to say before you get there, because I want to go to the NHL first. Vegas is just a great team. Okay. Let's just say it. They're an amazing team. And the Panthers were on an amazing run. And I saw a meme this week, and it's something that you and I spoke about, Alex. And I don't understand. So somebody put up a side-by-side reference of the Panthers logos home and on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, I'm just now realizing that we're on the road. It says Florida, and we're at home. It says Panthers. I'm like, every team does this.
Every team that has that does this.
Every team that puts the name on the jersey has this in every sport. If you're on the road, it's the city and or state, depending on the team, that you represent. If you're at home, they already know where you're from. That's why the name of the team's there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that, and I sat there for a minute. I just went, This is the internet. As I take a sip from my tasty beverage. Put a pin in that.
Although I do want to.
Your NBA factoids.
No. I wanted to casually say, you taught me that this year. It never occurred to me, but I also didn't care enough.
But you also didn't decide you were going to broadcast it to the internet.
Also
either,
fair.
because you probably thought to yourself, oh, that's a thing. People probably know it. I don't need to let people know I didn't know it.
Yeah,
because I wasn't going to say it. I just said that you and I had a conversation about it.
That is true. But I also wanted to own that I did not know that inherently, but it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
And I also wanted to give credit for where it was explained to me, which happens to host this show.
Now, there are certain instances, especially in the NHL, because of the way they do their sweaters. Like when Edmonton wears their third sweater, the name Edmonton isn't there, but you know based on the picture on the sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Or like when Florida didn't have the Shield logo and it was just the Panther jumping up, they didn't do that because there was no writing on it.
But the other aspect is alternate jerseys, sweaters, uniforms are typically only done at home. So more often than not, they will be the team name.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll do it for like the Winter Classic or something.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say this, though. You got to look at TCU this year. Wasn't expect to do nothing and made the college championship.
Yeah,
that is true.
Okay. Now, there have been the 2016 and the Cleveland Cavs came back and won down 3-1 in the NBA Finals. Okay. And then it happened once in the NHL in the Stanley Cup Finals. It was the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs coming back down 3-1 to Detroit.
So I was negative 21 when that happened.
It's still,
But the other
31.
problem is we don't necessarily want to talk about that Cleveland Cavaliers one because there's some whole Tim Donaghy level stuff.
Oh, that one.
I'm just saying, there's never give up home.
No,
Never-
Don,
Yeah,
I'm not
because
saying,
who knows? You may have paid off the league.
Don, by the way, I was negative 31. I was
Okay.
born in 73.
Okay.
I did my math wrong. But I'm not saying I'm giving up hope, Don.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying,
You can be proud
Is-
regardless.
I'm
Yeah.
happy regardless at this
Oh,
point.
yeah. Yeah.
Like, what do I always say? I'm happy to be in the building. Neither one of these teams should have done what they did, and they did.
Yep.
I said even before the finals, it doesn't matter who wins the Eastern Conference. Denver's going to win the whole thing because outside of Joker, they're just an amazing team. And Vegas the same way. Now, Kachuk's got to keep his butt out of the penalty box.
Which
For
made
the
for
first
happen.
two games, he was 9th all time in the Stanley Cup Finals for penalty minutes after 2 games.
He was going for
But I'm
that
okay
Gordie
with it.
Howe hat trick.
We made it.
Yeah.
It's good to be a South Florida sports fan. It just is.
Exactly.
I'm proud of my teams.
Beat so. And I agree with you 100%. But there's a chance. Never
There's
give
a
up.
chance. I mean, yes. As the saying goes, you're saying there's a chance.
Yes.
Yeah.
What
It
you
ain't over till
don't
it's over.
see-
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
I know you don't agree. What you don't see is me holding my breath.
I know.
If
The
it
heart-
happens, I'll lose my mind.
Yeah. The
But
heart
if it
and the head.
doesn't, I'm resolute. I am resolute now.
Yep.
Because both of the teams we're facing are just amazing
Yeah.
teams. Like Vegas, the thing that the Panthers will need to get used to, because they're a very young team, they got to get used to being there. Vegas, to them, it's Thursday. Because they're just a great team. Denver has just consistently this season been off the charts and just dominant.
And
I'm
still
happy
one of my
to be there. I'm happy to not get swept.
It's still one of my favorite memes is Joker's the best player on the planet. And let's not forget he got drafted during a Jimmy John's commercial or whatever it was.
Like a man that big should not have that kind of a shooting percentage from downtown. That's all I'm saying. The guy can shoot from anywhere.
Hashtag Dirk Nowitzki.
He could be in my studio and probably still hit from here.
Plus
My
great
wife is
passer.
getting ready to go out. I had to wave goodbye to her. Anyway, just dear God, man, I'm so excited right now. And then by next week, it's NASCAR and baseball for about a month and a half. at least, because you guys know on this show we're not big into preseason football. We cover it because God love us, we need football. But
Can we also clarify that that's not a universal statement for the show, but in general,
on the show itself is what I'm saying. Show proper.
yes.
Still probably.
Because we
Some
like,
of us are no bounds to our degeneracy.
Because I still like preseason. I know, it's the final tryouts on a lot of aspects and everything, but still for me, it's football. I still appreciate it.
well, football is always it's what we do.
Mhm.
It's the one thing that you can say on this show that all three of us have in common. It's the NFL.
Mhm.
Because growing up, it's all I had. The Braves would come middle school time, Dolphins, long as I can remember. Okay. Let's talk NASCAR, gentlemen.
NBA
Okay.
factoid. Okay.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Alex. I apologize.
So the
Get the
NBA
factoid.
factoid.
Go.
Should the Nuggets close it out and win, as it looks like they very much will at this point, it will be the first time in my lifetime that a Western Conference team not based in California or Texas will have won.
Really?
1979 was the last time that the Western Conference the winner from the Western Conference was not based in California or Texas.
Huh.
1979. And here's the other crazy part. That team doesn't exist because it was the Supersonics.
The Lakers beat the Supersonics.
Yep.
Did I ever tell you guys that somebody went out and they figured out what day Ice Cube was talking about?
No.
They found a day where all of those things happened.
And I love that person.
If you look up today was a good day on Wikipedia, all the stuff that Ice Cube talks about in that song actually did happen in one day, and somebody did the research and found it out. It was absolutely phenomenal. All right, today we did race at Sonoma in the Toyota Save Mart 350. Drive your car to the grocery store. I don't even know where there's a Save Mart anywhere. I mean, they obviously exist or they wouldn't be sponsoring the race, but I don't know where they are. Maybe they are. Maybe they're in California. It's a California thing now. Alex saying, wait, I want to say it was 1993.
January 20th, 1992.
Oh, 92. Okay. My first year of college. Your top 10 finishers in Sonoma today, coming in 10th, starting in 15th in the number one Chevrolet. Last week's winner, Ross, don't you dare call me Jessica Chastain. Christopher Ring My Bell starts in 4th and winds up in 9th in the number 20 Toyota. The number 5 Chevrolet belonging to Kyle Larson, Caveman Attorney. He starts in 3rd, winds up in 7th. Starting in 5th and only dropping one position to 6th in the number 16 Chevrolet. AJ Allmendinger and a side of fries. Chase Elliott and the number 9 Chevrolet starts in 10th, winds up in 5th. Chris Buescher. He starts in 7th and winds up in 4th. Your bronze medal this week goes to Joey Logano. He starts in 17th and winds up in 3rd. Silver medal starting in 12th and finishing in 2nd in the number 8 Chevrolet, Kyle Busch. And winning the race today, Martin Truex Jr. starts in 8th and finishes first in the number 19 Toyota. Let's talk because, gentlemen, we are getting close to the playoffs. We're only a couple of months away. So your odd men out, and if the playoffs started today, would be Alex Bowman and Ty Gibbs. However, Gibbs is 15 points behind the 16th person. So it's still, you all right over there, Alex? Oh, I saw Bailey Newman's little pocket up.
Yeah. Oh. There will be blood.
So Bowman 15 out. Daniel Suarez, You Kill My Father, Prepare to Die. He is 6 points ahead of Bowman. I'm sorry, Gibbs is 15 out. Suarez is 21 points behind Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace is 34 points back on Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Stenhouse 25 points back on Buescher. Buescher now 8 points back on Logano. Logano 2 back on Keselowski. Keselowski 8 back on Tyler, the Chronicles of Riddick. He and Kyle Larson are tied after today's race. But the thing is, they're 40 points back on Kyle Busch and Denny Moons over my Hamlin. Those two are 4 back on Bell. Bell now 11 back on Chastain after today's win. Chastain 6 back on Truex. Truex a point back on Harvick. Harvick is 9 back on Byron. Byron now 13 points. We have the Poet and the Stone are your top 2 right now in the NASCAR circuit. Coming up, next week we are off. NASCAR takes off for Father's Day. Excuse me. Need a sip of my tasty beverage.
And while you're doing that, I think Don had a really great point on that last week where he was saying they're off for Father's Day so the drivers could spend time with their families, very likely.
Thought that was me.
Actually, Don, you had said, I don't understand why we're not off for Mother's Day, but Father's Day, Don had made the point about the drivers being with their families. You were talking about the drivers potentially doing something with their fathers.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So June 25th, when I will be on my way back from Greater Austin Comic-Con, it is the Ally 400 at Nashville, 300 laps, 399 miles. And then on my birthday, 3 weeks from today, the Grant Park 220, the Chicago Street Race family at Chicago, 100 laps, 220 miles. I love it.
Oh, I hate you a little bit right now.
I have some emotional scars I have to get through today. They are, again, they're off next week. MLB Ranger fans, Jacob deGrom out for the season with Tommy John surgery.
Tried to warn you.
But they're doing okay.
No, they're doing great.
Still before the All-Star break, don't get me wrong. But got that going for you.
All the simulations have them over 100 wins at this point.
So let's get into your standings in the American League East. The Boston Red Sox are currently in the cellar. Let that sink in, kids. They're
not playing terrible.
14 and a half back, but you got to remember who leads that particular division. And remember, we have 2 of North America's favorite game shows to play. They are 4 back on the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are now a game and a half back on the Yankees. The Yankees are now 4.5 back on Baltimore. Baltimore now 5.5 back on Tampa Bay. By the way, Tampa Bay watch. They're 48-20 right now, kids. But that's a 706 win percentage.
And at this point, I would challenge many, many people who claim to be experts to name 4 people on that team.
I am not one of those people.
Yeah.
Kansas City is in the cellar in the AL Central. They are 14 and a half back, and they're 9 back on Detroit. Detroit now a game back on the White Sox. White Sox 3 back on Cleveland. Cleveland now a game and a half back on the leader in that division, being the Minnesota Twins. So let's play this week's first game show for North America. Nope, that's not one. It's this one. How many games separate the leader of the AL Central from the last place team of the AL East? Don.
3 games. 3.
Alex.
I remember saying 3 last week, and we were both over, so I will say 2.
You're both still over. There was a half game that separates the Minnesota Twins from the Boston Red Sox right now.
That's what was last week. It was a half last week, if I remember right.
I thought it was a game and a half.
This is mind-blowing.
Yes, it is.
And it's not like the Twins are at 500.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a half a game up on Boston. Let that sink in. Like, this is insanity. I mean, your top 4 teams, 3 of the 4 are in the AL East. Oh, I'm frozen.
Yep.
Don, do you have me?
I hear you, but I just can't see you.
This is crazy.
The audio just came back. You're
I hear you. Just can't
very
see
excitable in your image.
Yes, you are.
My hand is off to my right or to my
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's spinning. I don't know what's going on right now.
Well,
I'm going to keep talking and we'll see if it catches itself. Let me try this and see if it up. I'm going to wait for the program to respond and see what happens. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we're going to keep going and see what does it look like on YouTube right now? Can anybody?
That's what I'm pulling up right now.
Without it turning into a weird Matrix thing. because Zoom has locked up on my end. Yay. Is there anything
interestingly enough, everything on YouTube is working perfectly. It's just your picture that's frozen.
Yeah, because you guys are full motion on my end.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, even on YouTube, it's exactly as it appears. So kudos.
Okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to try another experiment. I'm actually going to shut Zoom down and reopen it and hope it doesn't zap you guys. So everybody stay with us. We're going to see what happens. I'll be right back.
We should just do the whole show like this. That's great.
No, because it's freaking me out because I can't get out any other way.
That's okay.
So I'll be right back.
Uh-huh.
All right. YouTube. Exciting for our viewers at home.
I almost feel like we should just talk about the betting abilities for All In again. I mean,
Let's do that while we're there.
No, because it really is like every street corner allegedly has some level of a book in England. So
I'm back.
Is that concept.
Okay, there he is.
And we got two Robs.
So I have to get rid of the other me.
Recording.
Now the recording stopped. But we're still streaming live, so I have to restart the recording. I'm not reporting anybody. Why am I reporting myself? We're back. We're still on YouTube. Are we okay?
Checking YouTube now.
Because I'm showing that we're streaming.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't keep YouTube up and keep anything moving functionally because Rockwall.
Yeah.
Why? We have more money per square inch than any other county in the entire southern United States. We can't have good internet or cell coverage. It's insane.
I want to say we're doing okay.
Yep, we're on YouTube.
All right.
Yep.
Everything's great, but you're now on the bottom.
And we're back. All right. So in the AL West, the Oakland A's are 25.5 games back, as they should be. They're 15.5 back on Seattle. Seattle now 3.5 back on Law. Law is a game and a half back on Houston, and they're 5 back on the Rangers right now. And just for reference, the Rangers have a run differential of plus 153.
I saw an article that said that the Rangers are on pace to have more than 1,000 runs this year.
That's the best in Major League Baseball right now.
Yeah.
In the National League West, the Colorado Rockies, 27-40. They're 14 games back. They are 5 back on the Padres. The Padres are now 2 back on the Giants. San Francisco now 3.5 back on the Dodgers. And Misty's beloved Dodgers they're halfway between San Francisco and the Diamondbacks. Did I get that one right? Yeah, it's the Coyotes and hockey.
Mm-hmm.
In the NL Central, the St. Louis Cardinals are terrible. They're only 8 games back. They're a game and a half back on the Cubs. The Cubs now 2.5 back on the Reds. Boy, could they be the most exciting team to watch in baseball right now that nobody's watching? If you
I'll
don't
tell you what, Ellie De La
Cruz,
Cruz is amazing.
he's crushing a ball.
Well, no, that's the craziest part about this. He hit one so high and so far, it got picked up on the airport's radar. That 458 foot home run he had the other day got picked up on CVG's radar.
And you want to talk about somebody who's just happy to be in a building.
And then earlier today and yesterday, he hit a dribbler and outran the pitcher from the mound to first with him going home to first.
Well, did you see the
kid can do
triple?
Everything.
The triple he hit, it was just like you blinked and the kid was.
10.2 seconds.
And by the way, the Reds are
10.2 seconds, which was 0.3 of a second.
The Reds are 3 back on Milwaukee. And Don, you're holding on to a 1-game lead in the division right now.
Yeah, and today helped.
Would you like to would you like to guess the Pittsburgh Pirates run differential?
Say positive 80.
Alex?
With the Pirates, as much as I have fond memories of Pittsburgh, I'm going to say it's probably closer to like 48, just because that division's not exactly running away with anything.
Divide each of your numbers by themselves.
24 and 40.
By itself. Divide 80 by 80. Divide 48 by 48.
That's one.
They are a +1.
Oh,
what?
Wow. I thought you
They're
meant in
winning the
half. That's my
division?
bad.
And they're
Yeah.
a one game running.
Well, the run, it doesn't matter how many you win by, Don. You only need one to win.
I know, but still, you should have more than
Inch
one.
or a mile? Are we gonna go
And
that
St.
well again?
St. Louis is at a break even.
I know. I get the thing of run and that kind of thing, but imagine you're winning the division and you're in a negative run differential. That's just something.
We've had that happen.
Yeah, I know.
But you're not
No,
in
we've
it, Don. You're +1.
I know. We'll take it.
The
But
little
hey,
number's green. You're okay.
so here's my question. So there's 3 division in each league.
That is correct.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that each of those division winners to make the playoffs need to actually have a winning record?
I have said that in every sport,
Every sport.
the dawn of man. If you are below 500, you do not deserve the playoffs. It goes to another wild card. That's
Okay.
it. And in the American League East, the Nationals are 13.5 back. They're 4 back on the Mets. The Mets are playing some entertaining ball too. I'm not going to lie to you, sir. I hate
Entertaining for everybody else. It's garbage.
Bonilla Day. 20 days to pop in Bonilla Day.
I know. I already have the shirt set aside for your Cidercade event.
Philadelphia is a game.
Word I want to call you, but we don't say on this show.
Philadelphia 1.5 up on the Mets. They're also 4.5 back on the Marlins, who have a kid that is lighting the world on fire. When it's June and you're hitting 400,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Oh, Luis Arez. Yes.
Yes. And the Marlins are now 3.5 back on my beloved Braves. Gentlemen, are we ready for America's favorite game show?
After the +1, I'm not sure.
By the way, I'm going to tell you a very strange stat as soon as I say, what is the run differential for the Oakland A's? Now, the Oakland A's are tied with the Arizona Diamondbacks for the longest win streak currently at 5.
I didn't realize they swept the Pirates.
So you got that going for you.
Oh boy.
Make your guesses, gentlemen.
I'm gonna say negative 225.
All right.
Well, it was like 200 last week, and that was
201.
And that was before winning every game this week. They ain't gonna win by more than 1 or 2. I will say 191.
The Oakland A's are 17-50 right now.
Good. We still need to figure out a name for them in Vegas.
That is a 254 winning percentage.
It's almost straight up a quarter of the time.
If they cut their losses in half, they would still be a half game out. Because they're 25.5 games out of first place right now.
God.
7-24, 10-26 on the road. They're 5-5 in their last 10, which means they lost 5 before they won 5. I will say this. We have positive yardage.
Oh man, I'm over.
If you take last week's number and you take Alex's guesses and you hit the halfway point, the Oakland A's are at a minus 196.
Oh boy.
See, I had to do that because if you win 5 games in a row and it's only been a week, that's every game. They can't have gone up.
The only team close to them right now.
And is that in quotations by chance?
Who is the only team that Oakland is keeping out of the run differential cellar? You guys want to make a guess?
I have no idea.
I'd have to say like Colorado or somebody in the NL West. Whoever's at the bottom of the NL West.
Same league.
Oh, that would be the Royals? Because you said
It is the Kansas City Royals, Don, who currently are at a minus 94.
Oh God.
So they're literally more than double.
Okay.
Almost. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's more than double. Yeah. That'd be 182.
I have to leave for just a second. I got to leave for. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But leave outright.
Yeah,
No, he
right back.
just turned his camera off.
Oh, okay. No,
His mic's still on, Don. Be aware of that.
yes. We don't need to hear the flush. But
I don't think it's close enough in his
that's
house.
insane. No, I don't know that it is. I was making a comment.
I'm just trying to make my best guess on remembering the last time we were at his place. No, I think they're across the hall from each other. Whereas
Maybe.
mine's like right there.
But there's also the possibility he took the phone with him. That's what I'm.
No, he's been on his laptop because you notice he doesn't have
really?
the earbuds in. He doesn't have the
That's
earbuds.
right.
Mhm.
But yeah, while we're touching on certain things, could we consider this potentially the week of the Joker in sports? Because you have Jokic likely winning the NBA Finals MVP, and
Not gonna
Novak Djokovic just broke Nadal's record for most Grand Slams yesterday.
Winning the Open.
And getting booed mercilessly by the French crowd.
I have no issue with that.
I have no issue with it either. Nadal is a pseudo citizen of that country.
Did you see the women's double match?
I did not.
So I didn't recognize any of the names of the ladies that were in this match. Point is over. Lady hits the ball, smacks the ball girl right in the side of the head.
Oh, the one that they got DQ'd a couple weeks or like last week.
But did you see what led up to that?
No.
Their opponents complained to the line judge that it should be a disqualification.
Oh my God.
Which led then to the disqualification after the ball girl's like, no, I mean, it hurts, but I'm okay. I get it. He didn't do this on purpose. So yeah.
Yeah, tennis is a weird sport, but it is a legitimate sport.
No, I agree 100% because I can't play it well. I'm a racquetball player. I keep launching the ball over the fence. And I even took a class in college.
You know, they actually wanted me to stop playing baseball in high school to play tennis because I did well. And I didn't because it involved too much running.
I can't get the serve right in tennis.
Shockingly, at being 4 foot nothing, I still
couldn't get it.
Yeah, 4 foot nothing. I can serve like a madman.
All right, Don's back.
Yeah, we had a big weather thing out there, so I had to check out something about that.
Yeah,
okay,
we got
totally
some crazy weather here in the Metroplex that we're going to be having for the next week.
Yeah,
and I'll get it after you two.
So before we go any further, gentlemen, I want to talk a little serious if we can. Alex knows this story. Don does not. So on Wednesday, I believe, I was on Twitter. I mean, I'm on Twitter almost every day, but I was on Twitter at this one point and saw a Twitter from one of my favorite radio personalities by the name of Bob Kevoian, formerly the Bob of the Bob and Tom Show. It is still the Bob and Tom Show. And when people ask Tom Griswold why it's still the Bob and Tom Show, his answer is, I got 10,000 koozies I still got to get rid of. So Bob says, I'm going to be on the show tomorrow. And I'm like, I love Bob. I'm a huge fan of Bob. If you need, go to YouTube and look up Bob's Die Hard song. It's all you need in this life.
Yes, I can co-sign this.
He plays the ukulele. There's only one time in his life that he has not worn his LA Dodgers hat, and it was on his wedding day. And unbeknownst to him, they pronounced them husband and wife. He turned around and the entire congregation was wearing LA Dodgers hats. Bob has also had a mustache since he was 17, and the mustache has its own birthday. To give you kind of an understanding of who Bob Kevoian is. And I'm a huge fan of Bob. So I'm very excited. I'm watching the show. We get to hour 4. There's Bob. He sounds a little weird, but, you know, Father Time being undefeated. He's been retired for like 6-7 years. And then I found out why he was on the show. On Good Friday this year, Bob was diagnosed with stomach cancer. So what he has done since is he has now recorded a series of podcasts. There are 6 episodes. The 7th and 8th ones are coming up. They all dropped him at 6 at one time. He didn't want a bunch of people knowing. So they chronicled every week of his journey without telling anyone. So we just got all 6 episodes on Thursday. I've already listened to all of them. They're about an hour apiece. And he said he called Tom for permission to call it the Bob and Cancer Show. It is a wonderful podcast. It is a very honest look at not only what Bob and his lovely wife, Becky, and their best friend, Whit, who has done a lot of stuff on the Bob and Tom Show, his journey through his treatments and what he's been dealing with and how it's going to come up. But it's also a really good look into them going, we're going to tell you what actually goes on here. So if you ever have to go through this, this is what you're going to deal with. It is a wonderful podcast. I laughed multiple times. Bob's tagline is, I have a new partner and I'm going to kill him. because it's the Bob and Cancer Show. And the logo looks like the Bob and Tom Show. So I would encourage you, if you're looking for a podcast, like I said, there's only 6 episodes. The last 2 will drop after his next appointment, and he's having the surgery next month. So go check it out. They're about an hour apiece. Bob is amazing. When they take breaks, they do play the song he's famous for on the Bob and Tom Show called I'm Sick of Being Sick, which is a great song. We don't get anything from this, but it's when there's stuff that we think that you guys should check out, that is one of them. And Bob, thank you for sharing your journey. And I'm looking forward to hearing the final 2 episodes. Because again, I'm a huge fan. I've been a fan of the Bob and Tom Show for 32 years now coming up. I am a VIP member. I listen every day. And they read one of my emails on the air a few weeks ago. And that was really cool. So, all right, let's get into TV talk. So this weekend, and we'll talk more about this in a minute, I was at Fan Expo Dallas and helping out the great Dave and Angie. And a lady walked up with a shoulder bag that was the animated logo of Bewitched. If you remember that show. Don, were you a big Bewitched fan back in the day?
Nah, there's other shows I liked. I've seen it, watched a few times, but I just wasn't a huge fan.
Sony has.
I don't hate it. I respect the show, but yeah.
They had an animated, very 60s looking intro to it, but Sony has announced they are looking at an animated reboot of Bewitched, as well as a kids version of Wheel of Fortune.
Technically, isn't that just Wheel of Fortune?
Well, if you think about it, though, his daughter's been filling in for Vanna lately.
Maggie.
I wonder if Maggie's going to be the one to host the kids version.
I could see that. She does. She is their social media matron.
And getting him used to seeing her and then doing the thing. So that's currently in the works at Sony. So keep your eye on that. Another huge announcement this year. If you live in San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, or St. Louis in November, there are 4 dates of a double headliner. Jim Gaffigan and Jerry Seinfeld doing dates together in November. Apparently, this stems from Gaffigan doing Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, that went so well, and they've just been talking on and off, and they finally got it locked down. They're doing 4 dates together in November. Again, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, and St. Louis. So if you're in one of those cities in the month of November, you may want to look into getting those tickets, because I'm going to tell you something. That's going to be a heck of a show. I've always been more of a fan of Seinfeld's stand-up than I was of the show. I would do this in a heartbeat.
Have they said anything about venues? Like, is it going to be arenas? Because this, based on it, number one, being Seinfeld and that following that still exists, but Gaffigan and his following, I could almost see it being a football stadium.
One moment, I can get this for you.
Okay.
Because Billboard actually had it. Even Billboard had this.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, we had one.
Please go ahead.
One little sports note I wanted to throw out. Congratulations to Andrew McCutcheon, Mr. Pirate of the current era, hitting his 2000th hit today.
Oh, Mazel Tov. All right, here are your shows. November 3rd at the Chase Center in San Francisco. Okay. November 4th at the Kia Forum in Los Angeles. November 10th in Chicago. It doesn't say where, but November 11th will be at the Enterprise Center in St. Louis. Tickets go on sale for each venue. Today is the 11th on Friday.
Enterprise Center is a really great arena in St. Louis. That's where the Blues play.
So apparently in that episode, Seinfeld picked up Gaffigan in a 1977 Volkswagen camper bus, and they went out for pastrami at the 2nd Avenue Deli in New York City. I'm here for it. Let's go. I want to go to there. Amazon Prime Video. If you haven't had enough of this franchise, we are getting an animated series called Angry Birds Mystery Island.
Oh, boy.
Is the mystery why this keeps happening?
The guy that plays Bejeweled more than anybody on the planet didn't know that this was still a thing. Don has turned off his camera again. I think he's probably checking out the weather.
I agree.
So, I mean,
if it makes money and people are watching it, I know there's a lot of kids. So
I know there's still people that play Pokemon Go, but it's weird.
They do? I thought it got shut
There's a
down.
couple of people that still play.
I ain't against it. I'm surprised to hear it.
Apple TV as we continue on, because we don't have any way to kill time like we did in sports.
Yeah.
They're doing a 4-part documentary, which now I think may be longer because of another headline that came out this week about one Lionel Messi.
Mm.
And this was before the announcement came that he is coming over here to play for Inter Miami.
Yes. AKA David Beckham's team.
Shout out to my dude Logan, my buddy Jason's son. He is a huge Messi fan. They live in Boynton. He's losing his mind right now.
Did you see the 1-day change in ticket costs?
I did not.
Oh, Lord.
$29 to $327.
That's about right.
Yeah.
The CW with some headlines this week. The Canadian show they've been working on, Sullivan's Crossing, has been renewed for season 2. It's kind of weird that we're getting renewals and cancellations when we got a writer strike going on, but whatever. But they have canceled after one season the Walker Independence spinoff that took place in the Old West. They are, a friend of the show, Rachel Wimberly, I've already told her she knows, they are going to start airing from its beginning, The Chosen, starting next month. Which is it's a story of Jesus and the disciples, but she loves it. She said it's told very well. It's not real preachy. They do take a lot of liberties because you actually get to know the disciples more, and they're in season 3, I think, right now. But the CW is going to start airing it next month, and she's very excited about this. So, and in the weirdest news for the CW this week, remember earlier
that isn't golf related?
Well, it kind of is, though, because you remember when I said with them possibly losing Live Golf, which now we don't know, they're going to be okay. The CW will be starting September 5th at 8 Eastern, will be airing a revamped Inside the NFL.
I did see that.
I'm very confused by this.
And I just want to be like, is there somewhere that Showtime just went, okay, anybody want to talk to us?
Well, the move from HBO to Showtime was weird enough.
Yes.
Now you're moving it from Showtime to the CW? Weird.
Confirming your earlier, it was season 3 of The Chosen this year.
Good. Disney Plus announces this week Ahsoka will officially start August the 23rd.
Cannot wait.
Ready for that. A new teaser apparently has dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So, MGM Plus, Don, is that a service you guys have?
No, MGM Plus. No,
that's what
MGM used to be Epics or whatever.
Epics. That's right.
Yeah, we have that.
They're doing.
Oh, Rob froze.
A 4-episode true crime documentary series. No, I'm here. I can see myself moving.
There was a momentary freeze, but we didn't miss anything.
Okay. It's going to be called Psycho, The Lost Tapes of Ed Gein.
Oh, really?
Yes, that'll be on the MGM Plus.
Okay. Yeah, the guy from Texas.
Yes. Netflix announcing that season 2 of The Lincoln Lawyer will have it's going to be in 2 halves. The first half will drop on July 6th. The second half will drop on August the 3rd. I thought we were at season 3, but we're only at season 2. So, Paramount Plus. Remember, a few weeks ago, we talked about a show they're doing called Special Ops Lioness with Morgan Freeman, Zoe Saldana, and Nicole Kidman.
Mm-hmm.
We officially have a premiere date for that. That will be July the 23rd. Here's another thing about a lot of these streaming services that have network affiliations. With the writer's strike, wouldn't you think they'd be doing a lot of pivoting of maybe taking those and using those for their programming? For their over-the-air programming? Because
that's where we were talking about last week, whether or not they were married to certain dates.
Because I would be like, you know what? Like, we can do this next day, but why are we not putting this? Why aren't we putting this on the CW so we have something?
Yeah.
It all boils down to what contracts were made at certain points if we can't move it, or they can't move it, I should say.
Sorry about that, gentlemen. My phone's going off. There's we have an Amber Alert in Dallas.
Okay. Now
go ahead. I'm sorry, Alex.
There was another Disney Plus note. I didn't know if you had it buried for later, but have either of you gentlemen gone to theinvasionhasbegun.com?
I have not.
No.
Oh, well, if you would like, you can watch the first 5 minutes of Secret Invasion right now.
Oh, I don't want. I read that, but I don't want to do it.
Should we reveal that you need a passcode to do so?
Oh yeah, people want to watch it. Yeah.
So if you go to, Don, you could check me on this one.
Yeah.
If you go to theinvasionhasbegun.com, you will have a very Matrix-esque screen. And Don, are you pulling it up?
Yeah, I am.
While Don is doing that, we do want to make sure that we understand there was an Amber Alert. If you have those on your phones, please pay attention to you. Sometimes they're close to you. And if they are close to you, make sure you're reading them thoroughly so you can help out authorities. That's the purpose of them. We want to make sure everybody's doing that.
Okay. I just pulled it up right now. It's coming in.
Okay. So you will have a very Matrix-esque background. And Rob, I'll actually share my screen if you would like.
One moment, I can make that happen.
Can't reach this IP. Checking firewalls.
Go.
All right.
Are you using your work laptop, Don?
No, on this one, no. Let me try.
Okay. Let's say if you're looking at the firewall, then
Yeah.
So you have a very Matrix-esque screen with nothing else on it except for enter password. If one would like to enter RSD 3 PX5 N7S, that is going to grant you access to watch the first 5 minutes of Secret Invasion.
which comes later this month.
Yes, it does, on the 17th.
Okay, access granted. Accessing the file.
Probably don't watch it right now, though.
Oh,
Yes, but if you want it for later.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Showtime working on a docu-series about Will Chamberlain. It's going to be called Goliath.
There's going to be a lot of ways that can go.
Yeah.
Because arguably, and what I would like your input on this one, Rob.
Mhm.
There are people who say you cannot consider Wilt Chamberlain one of the top 5 greatest players of all time because he was so disliked that even during his prime, he was traded multiple times. So on a teammate level, you cannot consider him one of the greatest of all time. What are your thoughts on that?
It's all about the play on the court.
And he has the stats above pretty much anybody else.
Like, what have I always said? I don't have to like you to work with you.
True.
But can you get the job done? Yeah, let's go.
Although there is also that aspect of his 100-point game. His teammates hated him afterwards.
Well, you know.
Well, did you ever hear the story on that one?
I don't believe that.
So he didn't score 100 points outright. But the NBA doesn't want that because they want the 100 points scored. Apparently, what he did was on multiple plays, just sat under the basket, and anytime one of his teammates shot, he just touched it on its way in, so he got the points.
Don't make it right, just makes it what it is.
That is fact.
And Stars has said season 2 of Men in Kilts will debut August 11th, right on the heels of the season finale of Outlander.
Nice.
TV at home this week. Season 1 of Quantum Leap will be available to you on the reboot there. Season 1 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, which I also have heard it will be available on 4K. Season 12 of Call the Midwife, which is a British series available this week. The complete series of Mayberry RFD, if you've been clamoring for that. The complete series of Night Court, the original, not the reboot, because there's only been one season. Also, the complete series for Parenthood, the Venture Brothers.
Okay, I'm in on that one.
You will get Backlash if you would like to watch that in your home or if you were there. Music news this week. I'm going to bury this one and come back to it. Nicki Minaj has announced her next album is set for October 20th. And you've got the BET Awards coming up live June 25th at 8 Eastern. Drake leads the way with 7 nominations. And in the category of You're Never Too Young to Find Love.
Okay.
There are...
I think I heard this. Go ahead. I didn't spoil it. I think I heard this.
There are conflicting rumors that are neither being denied nor verified that Bill Murray, 72 years young, has been dating the Kellis, aged 43. He's a big fan of milkshakes. There's no way we're not the 97,000th person to make that joke.
But at the same time, we will get a lot of tweets or texts that are like, did you hear about this? I didn't hear it on the show. And it's like, yeah, we all heard it. But you know what? More power to them. If it makes you happy.
There's a reason that the slogan for the show is if you listened, you'd know.
Yup.
Music new releases this week in places you get music new releases. Ben Howard releases Is It? Question mark. We also have a band called Creep Show, 2 words, releasing Yawning Abyss. Deer Tick, another band I've never heard of. Emotional Contracts. There's a lot of ones this week that I'm just like, I put this in there because of their names. Django, the D is silent. With Off Planet, Government Mule is back with Peace Like a River. Killer Mike is a name we haven't heard in a while. A new album called Michael, very creative. Cool Keith.
Wasn't he in prison?
Probably. Cool Keith with Black Elvis 2. Queens of the Stone Age.
Sorry, I got to catch up on Black Elvis 1.
Well, there's a lot of unanswered questions. Queens of the Stone Age with a new album called In Times New Roman.
I like that band. I don't care what anybody says.
Yusef Islam / Cat Stevens with King of a Land. And one of our favorite bands is back, boys. I think this is like their 5th album in the last year. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Did you see the name of this album?
No.
Petrodragonic Apocalypse, or Dawn of Eternal Light, an annihilation of planet Earth and the beginning of merciless damnation.
Sweet family
That's a lot.
Whenever they release an album, we will always talk about it.
I did not realize we were going to go through this many albums. I'm still stuck on the title of Yawning Abyss and realizing apparently the band was at my stand-up career.
Or they just, they know wrestlers that have worked multiple gimmicks.
Mm. Did you see that joke this week?
I don't know that I did.
Adam Pearce talking about how a certain individual was the worst employee in Arby's history and was fired almost immediately. And then there was the Arbis shirt of Abyss at Arby's. Yeah.
Box office numbers from our friends at boxofficemojo.com. Dropping out of the top 10 this week, only one movie. You Hurt My Feelings drops from 9 to 11. 417.5 is what it made for 3 weeks, $3.8 million. Jumping from 12 to 10, a movie that I did not screen because it was not a convenient time for me to do so. Past Lives makes $500,000 in 2 weeks. It's made $867,000. The Machine drops from 8 to 9 this week. $600,000 ish. 3 weeks, $10.1 million. So tough deal. And they lost 1,400 theaters.
Ouch.
About My Father drops from 7 to 8 this week, $845,000. 3 weeks, $10.8 million. The Super Mario Brothers movie drops from 6 to 7, but probably a lot of that is because it's now you can stream it.
Some of us already own it.
$2.1 million. 10 weeks, $570.2 million.
Is that all?
Doing well. Fast 10 drops from 5 to 6 this week. $5.2 million. 4 weeks, $138.1 million. And when the rumored budget on this was $340.
Oops.
I think that's for all three. I don't think that's just for this one. I think people are misreporting that.
See, I heard it was 200 for this one, and 100 of it was just in salary based on something that you and I listened to.
Yeah. The number I read was 340. So the Boogeyman drops from 3 to 5 this week, $6.9 million. 2 weeks, $24.7 million. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 stays at 4th place with another $7 million. 6 weeks, $335.4 million. Little Mermaid drops from 2 to 3 this week. $22.8 million. 3 weeks, $228.8 million. By the way, $400 million worldwide on that movie.
That's actually lower than I thought.
Fast X was $340 million. It was the 8th most expensive film ever made. Number 8. ever.
I still think that's for all three of them. I think
Now
they're-
we also
No,
have to
just-
clarify. We have been told do not call it that. It is Fast 10.
Either way,
No, not either way. There are certain
established.
people-
Established.
Yeah.
Let's keep it moving.
okay, but 340.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse drops from the gold to the silver, but $55.425 million for a 2-week total of $225.5 million is nothing to shake a stick at. Do you understand the significance of this, gentlemen?
Of what?
Of how much money that movie has made so far?
I believe that puts it at number 1, doesn't it? For animated
No, because Super
Mario
Mario,
Brothers. Yeah.
it made more in 12 days than Into the Spider-Verse made in its entire theatrical run.
Oh, that's crazy.
And winning the weekend, Transformers Rise of the Beasts makes $60.5 million. Not shabby.
No.
I enjoyed it. It's fun.
And where would they find out exactly how you feel about it?
All three of us. You can find that at www.theclubhousepodcast.com.
That's our website.
Perfect. All right. Just a couple of headlines to go through real quick. Congratulations to Naomi Watts and the Billy Crudup. They are married.
Mazel tov to them. Congratulations.
To those kids. Bryan Cranston with a very interesting statement that he had to amend later in the week. He said that in 2026, he will be 70. The original statement was that he was retiring from acting. He is now saying he's just going to take a year off and live in France. Because
when you're that talented and you have that money, you can do whatever you want.
Well, he was asked about a updated version of Malcolm in the Middle, and he says he's okay with it. He wants to see where they are now.
Yeah.
The 2024 Cannes Film Festival will be May 14th through the 25th of next year. So mark that down. And Captain America 4 is now Brave New World. It is no longer New World Order. So adjust your rosters accordingly.
Anybody else on the show a little bit sad at that?
No, because the internet doing what it does. Have you seen the close up of that picture?
Of with the Seth picture?
No, the picture with Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford.
Yes. Yes, I have.
You've seen the close up
Yes.
and what they're inferring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for it.
Yeah.
2 new releases this week. One, you will have reviews from all of us on Thursday afternoon, as The Flash has arrived. I'm not even going to ruin anything.
Nope.
Don't let the internet ruin this movie for you, but Sue, I'm not even going to tell you. You're going to have to read the reviews come Thursday afternoon. Also this week, Elemental, the latest from Pixar. Did you guys see that they have announced the short that will be with it?
I have not seen this.
Let me get the name right.
Okay. Now, there was another actor talking about a break. I'm going to insert here real quick. Tom Holland has said he's taking a break from acting based on how dark of a place the crowded room put him in, the Apple Plus.
A lot of people are saying stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it is called Carl's Date.
Oh, I didn't realize that was attached to Elemental. I knew about this. I didn't know that was the one that was.
And Carl from Up preparing for his first date since losing his wife. So this
I got to be honest. I've still never watched the movie because I know I can't handle it.
It's Up is wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh no, I've heard that, but I am a very emotional person. And
Well, and the problem is you keep asking Rick Astley for it, and he's not going to give it to you because he's never going to give you Up.
God, this is horrible today.
this is just the dad joke pun special.
Yeah, metaphor, give you up. This is just bad.
Your
You
tankard
call-
made
you
you
say
too
I- you
cocky,
say-
sir.
Alex, you say I have no comedy. I'm not funny. Oh, dear Lord.
Well, that's true.
Well, this has not been funny for many of us today. We're doing our best.
I don't know what y'all are talking
this
about.
is
I'm on a roll with a side of slaw. I don't know what y'all are talking about.
I still love the cup.
I'll get there, Don. Just be patient. We're going to get there. Movies at home this week. John Wick Chapter 4. The Blu-ray arrives this week.
Awesome.
Also, a movie that had a very big splash at the Dallas International, or no, was it the USA Film Festival this year? One of the two. One Ranger with Thomas Jane and John Malkovich. Recruited by British intelligence, a Texas Ranger must track down and stop a dangerous terrorist from attacking London.
We did talk about this one. It looked really cool.
The Pope's Exorcist.
Well, I actually saw that one.
Did you?
That one. Yeah.
The Pope's Exorcist also available this week with the Russell Crowe. Southern Gospel, which is a film I saw the one sheet for at the Angelica and never knew that it came out and went. When a rock and roll life star's life come crashing down, he must fight his past demons to realize his childhood ambition of becoming a preacher. Also, many people don't know this, but there was actually a TV movie that came out after Alf went off the air. It was supposed to be a reboot that never happened, called Project Alf. You can get that on Blu-ray or a DVD this week. And the Criterion Collection does Time Bandits.
Oh,
Terry
nice.
Gilliam. All right, Tech Corner. Let's get to it. So, I am a subscriber to Microsoft Office 365. But certain things have not been available there yet, but I have seen it work. There's apparently a new version of Outlook coming. And I have been given the ability to check it out, experiment with it. Do not release this. They're trying to make it look like Google Mail or Apple Mail. It's terrible. Like, you're sending me a version to test, and I can't, like when you've got a document open and you can hit that little icon and it turns it into an email with an attachment. It can't do that. It pops up a window, and then it's like, oh, this can't work.
And the crazy part on top of this is you have been the Outlook defender, no matter how much I badmouth it for the years we've known each other.
I love Outlook. I love the version of Outlook we have now. Don't overhaul it. The way they're doing appointments when you dock the peak, it doesn't. I like the way Outlook now is when my meeting's over, it disappears. Mm-hmm. It keeps everything for the whole day still there, and it just highlights what's next. Don't like it. My
email's still Hotmail. What does that tell you? Hotmail.com. That's how old mine is.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
Kevin Smith on Hollywood Babylon, they use AOL still.
Yeah.
That's right. CompuServe.
Okay. And Rob's redeemed.
I do not like this at all. I don't like that. It's not user friendly. Like, I like using night mode.
Mm-hmm.
If I make any changes in the new Outlook, it goes to day mode until the next time I boot up my computer. Then it goes back to night mode.
I feel like I hear Damon Wayans and David Alan Grier in the back of my mind. Just
It's terrible. Don't do this, Microsoft. Leave it alone.
Ugh.
Like, to the point where I'm the only person on my team that was testing it. Everybody's like, we don't care.
By choice?
Yeah. I'm like, I'll mess with it for a few days because there's a little toggle at the top of the screen that you can just go back. I was like, no, this is terrible. And if you to do in your calendar to do something, you single click versus double click. But if you double click, then it creates two events. Hard pass. And if I have a reminder set up like 15 minutes for a meeting, no pop-up window.
Oh, that's a hard fail.
Yeah. Like, I'm not big on putting reminders of things unless it's work related. But yeah, hard pass. Terrible. Speaking of Microsoft Office, I had a bit of an idea this week that did not pan out the way I wanted it to. So, as we talked about in our last episode, I now have an Xbox Series X. Very much enjoy. I play a lot of Bejeweled because I'm that old. And there's nobody on the leaderboards that I play on. It's just like, there's no leaderboards. I'm like, I know, it's an Xbox 360 game. Leave me alone. But they do have cool modes on this. The poker mode I very much enjoy. So, but there's a lot of apps that I have on my Roku that don't work on the Xbox Series X. So, especially when it comes to screeners, Impact Wrestling, Ring of Honor, not available. Bob and Tom Show, not available. So my thought process was, why can't I just get Outlook on my Xbox, and then I have a wireless keyboard and mouse, and I can just open up the link in there and click the link, and it's going to work. It's going to be Edge because they don't want you to have Google Chrome.
They don't want to have a functioning browser.
Well, they have something else that's just called like Internet Browser, and the logo is like the head of a wolf. I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, but you can't do any Office apps in this at all, unless you do it on the web version. So fail there. So then I thought, Against All Odds was coming up on Friday night. Let me just see if I can access Impact Plus through Edge, which I had to go through the Internet Wolf thing into Bing, into Edge. Yeah. Got it up and running, hit full screen. It was not full screen. As I sent Alex a picture of it.
You should have posted that picture, by the way.
There was about 2 inches on each side of my big screen that were dark.
You had your own frame that you didn't want.
And it was in 1080p. So I was like, okay, I can fight through this for now. And then about halfway through the second match, it just started buffering and never caught up. So then I just went back to Roku and watched it on the Impact Plus app. So fail again. So Microsoft, let's get on the ball, get some more apps, or just let me use Google Chrome, or give me Outlook. It's your product, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say this because it might wish it into existence. I can use the Microsoft Mail. Just give me something I can use. But I've got 365. It's your product. You should be able to use it on anything that says Microsoft on it. I'm just saying. I mean, I can use it on a Mac if I work hard enough.
Also true.
Madden 24 on its way, and on its cover is one Josh Allen.
Did you see the problem with it?
I did not.
So apparently it is a heavily photoshopped picture, so that if you look closely on what they revealed of Josh Allen basically in the front row celebrating with Bill's Mafia, you can tell the mask is something different because it just cuts off in the middle somewhere.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the question that has been burning in Don's mind for 2.5 hours now.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
Really?
Really? What are you talking about?
This weekend was Fan Expo Dallas. I was there yesterday. It was a thing. Shout out to Dave and Angie McDonough, who always like to have me come out and help them. Had a blast.
Who and Angie?
Well, when I say it together, it's Dave and Angie because that flows better than Dave and Angie, because then it's like Dave and Angie, and because you have to do both.
Oh, that would be more fun.
This is a Maximum Male Models thing.
Dave and Hanji.
So that Igbunu.
And ruined.
Remember that? You started that.
I did not start that.
Yeah,
I started. No. I did Fandango. That's different.
No, but when I said the models, you said, "What about Igbunu?" Because I was thinking Don. You said Igbunu.
I don't think that's a thing.
We can go back and listen on that one.
Anyway.
Okay.
Fan Expo.
Tell me about
Dave and Angie McDonough.
So I got there early.
Okay.
Because Dave had told me that the security there was ridiculous. So I got there a lot quicker than I had anticipated on getting there, but I got decent parking in the garage underneath the Kay Bailey Hutchison Convention Center, which I've never parked under the convention center before. It's $15. It wasn't bad. For that area, not bad at all. The The convention itself, if you're looking at the front of the building, is on the right side now, or it used to be on the left. On the left is where we went for WrestleMania Access. Mm-hmm. The layout, it's just gotten worse. They've booked so many guests that the entire side where all the concessions are is all autographs.
Oh, wow.
And the red carpet for cosplay faces the concession area.
That's weird.
One of the backgrounds that they're using that you take your pictures in front of is right next to a garbage can, which is right next to the ramp that gets you from the autograph area to the sales floor.
So they basically just didn't have anybody with any engineering ideas here.
Well, they don't care.
Yeah, that's also fair. They got the money and run.
They've got so many exhibitors and so many vendors. There were times where I just had to just focus because my claustrophobia was through the roof. Like they had some cool stuff. McKenna Michaels was there. I got to see her. I got to see my brother Brent. His daughter is crocheting things. I bought a cow that's about that big from her.
Nice.
Got to see some of my con family, not everybody, because couldn't find anybody because there's so many people. I didn't see any of our ASL friends. I don't think they worked the show because I even checked their Facebook pages and there was no pictures. So Lael and Jennifer, I didn't see them. All of the cosplayers, well, all of anybody of Dave's ilk. They had a tattoo alley right next to his booth. It was kind of neat. But like 501st cosplay people, they were all shoved to the other end by the by what they call the main theater, which is the main panel room. I was shocked at the number of people that were like, we didn't know that there was stuff back here. That's a problem. The aisles were not, they were very narrow aisles, except for the big red carpet that divides the main room in half. I can't say I didn't have a good time. I had a great time. Got to see some of my friends, got to hang out with Dave and Angie. Got to watch people's reactions as they came around the corner and saw the throne. Alex, you okay over there?
Yes. Was trying to keep it off of air. I was texting you to let you know that the storm is starting to get bad here, just in case you lose me.
Okay.
But I will hold on as long as I can.
No, I appreciate that. But this mug did come from Dave's booth. He sells these, and they're awesome. They're insulated. Holds about 20 ounces of stuff.
Did you get on one?
Yeah.
This was the only one. This is the last one.
Ah.
So no. Pecos Pete was there again. So Pecos Pete, love your product. Put a couple of more booths in there because plus it was $40 for that mug. They're like, well, you can get free refills all weekend. I'm like, I'm leaving in 2 hours.
Yeah.
They had one on the very, very far side by the concessions, and then they had another one right by the front door. Both of them were a madhouse.
As they would be, yeah.
I am of the firm belief that if you run a show of a decent size, give your vendors the option to spend a little bit more money for some form of what I refer to as like a concierge service, where you have people whose entire job is they've got an app and, oh, hey, I need a couple of pizzas and a couple of sodas. You pay for it and they run it to you. Because even for me to go to the restroom, it was just a cluster everywhere. And then you'd have people that would just stop in the middle so they could look at something, or, you know, I don't know how people were talking on their phones because I couldn't get reception in the hall. I could text, and sometimes my text would take 2 or 3 times to go through, but phone calls, wasn't happening. It reminds me why Mark's shows are as good as they are, because they've got that old school convention feel.
Actual planning.
Yeah. Well, it's the reason I call San Diego the Metallica of shows, because it has become everything it despised. It's like South by Southwest, same thing. When Dallas Comic Con was bought out by the company that does Fan Expo. It changed everything. You know, maybe don't book as many guests, because when I tell you, if I were to give you an estimate on the number of people that were working the autograph area, let me look. If it's less than 50, I'd be shocked. And those were just the people giving autographs. I would be shocked if that number was less than 50 guests. They were doing a National Lampoon's vacation reunion. Chevy Chase was behind a barricade room, as was Kevin Smith. I was surprised that Randy Quaid was there.
Same.
But yeah, they've got to do something about the concessions. They've got to do something about, it didn't bother me to pay $4 for a bottle of water because I know what I'm in for, but it shouldn't take me 45 minutes to get it.
Yeah.
And that's not even including the madness of the foot traffic on the concourse. Because if you're on the concourse, you don't have to have a ticket to get in. So you get all the people that come in cosplay because they were doing all the cosplay meetups on the concourse. Then as we were leaving, show closed at 7:00. Dave says we're leaving at 7:00.
Mm-hmm.
We're walking out and there's still people lined up. I'm like, what is going on right now? What I found out is they were doing another event in the convention center after hours, an evening with Hayden Christensen, which is fine.
And friend of the show, Gold Leader Tiffany, attended before flying out this morning.
But you shouldn't have done it in the same hall where you're doing the convention. That is a security nightmare. My hopes is that nobody got squirrely and went through somebody's table. Because normally the way it works, show closes, you put a drape over everything, you go and they got, I mean, when I say 750 to 1,000 people just for that, that was a thing.
Yeah.
And it was concerning. It was very concerning. I love seeing my con family. I'm going to be working at Greater Austin Comic Con here in a couple of weeks. I'm very much looking forward to it. But there is such a thing as critical mass when it comes to these shows. And it worries me for people. I think Greater Austin Comic Con and the people that do that show do a great job of making sure traffic is directed properly. I was very impressed working that show last year with looking down from above and seeing how many people were there, but everybody was moving because the aisles were very wide. They took care of people. Vo and them do a great job. They do an amazing job, and I love working with them. And I will work with them as long as they'll have me. Fan Expo was crazy.
So, Rob, we've been let me try to put this into frame. We've been to ROD, American Airlines Center.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're leaving, the show is over and the hallways are packed and it's kind of hard to get in and out of was it kind of like that? Would that
all day long.
What?
All day long.
All right. So it's packed. You can't just walk freely. No matter where you go, there's going to be somebody around you where you just can't walk at your own speed.
It's what I found at Fan Expo Dallas. I don't see that at other shows. I don't see that at Retro Expo because they do an amazing job. I don't see that at Giganticon or Greater Austin because they do a great job. If nothing else, making sure that people can get to where they're going efficiently and not feeling boxed in. Yeah. Fan Expo is the only one I've been to that I've had that problem with. Dallas Comic Show does a great job keeping people moving. But Fan Expo, that was a tough deal. Had a great time.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing everybody again. Looking forward to working Greater Austin here in a couple of weeks. Got to see some people from Greater Austin up there, which was awesome. I love it when I say, when we went to see The Flash, one of my fellow moderators from Greater Austin showed up, and I know he was, I was like, what are you doing in this part of the state? But yeah, there were a lot of people saying a lot of things. Like, again, had a great time. Love seeing my friends. Love helping out Dave and Angie. Always do. And I'm always happy to be invited. And I'll show up as often as I can. But Fan Expo Dallas, logistics are a big thing with them. Fix a couple little things, man. That vendor concierge is one of them. I think it would do wonders. Because one, your vendors don't have to leave their tables. Like with us, it was Dave and Angie and I, or Dave and Angie and me. I think that's the right one. So if Dave needed to go do something, he had coverage at the table. Not everybody has that. Now, as long as either he or she were there because they had the thing for the credit cards or whatever, because I wasn't collecting money, then it was fine. But you got these people that are these small businesses that don't have the ability to be gone for more than 5 minutes. And I won't say that there was nobody that got squirrely in any of the lines I saw. Like, everybody was cool and waited their turn and whatnot. So there wasn't that problem. It was just a lot of people. And everybody looked like they were having a great time. Just for me, I felt a little closed in at a few points. And it's one of the big shows that happens here every year. And I'm very, very much looking forward to Greater Austin. Because again, Vo and them do an incredible job. The Donna does a great job. I'll see Midge down there. We got some new people joining us this year, which is going to be awesome. It's just a tough deal to deal with sometimes. But again, there's no way they didn't have a successful weekend. I can tell you that. Because I was even saying to Dave as we were leaving, because we went to dinner afterwards, as much of craziness as it's going to be getting out of here, seeing all those people for that Hayden Christensen thing, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like for people to get out of that garage. For getting out was actually pretty good, because I paid my parking at a little machine right outside the garage, so I was able to get out quickly. It wasn't stop and give my money. They had two lines. Here, if you didn't pay already, and here if you did. And they just take the thing and they scan the thing, and there's the thing, and you go. But I'm glad, I just seen everybody's smiling, shining faces made everything worth it. It always does. And I can't wait to do it again. Any questions from you, gentlemen?
No.
No, not at this point. Although I would like to posit if more of those tankards become available, they are pretty slick, and I would not mind purchasing one or two.
I will let Dave know. Because I was like, I want these. Like, it's the last one. I said, oh, sorry about somebody else's bad luck.
Me?
You have to show up.
Hey, how do you know I didn't show up? Just like Elemental. Oh, I didn't put it on the Google Calendar like I did Elemental.
Easy killer.
You really want to have that discussion?
Oh, I think I'm losing connectivity.
Yes, the storm's out.
Because I'll win that one. Like I said, I don't fight fights I can't win. I'll fight that one. That being said, make sure you visit our website, the aforementioned www.theclubhousepodcast.com. Find out everything you need to know and some stuff you don't. You can follow us on your social medias. Twitter is at Clubhouse Show. Everything else is The Clubhouse Podcast. All three words in that order, or you will wind up somewhere else. You can follow me on your social medias if you would like. Everything is yes, that Rob Irvin. That is spelled ERVIN.
I am Vexploit on all social media. If you'd like to help out the show, please go to ProWrestlingTees.com and search for the Cheap Popcast. We have a lot of different designs and a lot of different color options within these designs that you can see on the screen right now. But if you have any designs you would like to contribute or any suggestions that you'd like to make, please reach out to me at alex@theclubhousepodcast.com, as the hail is coming down bad.
And that URL to get those awesome shirts that even make me look good. ProWrestlingTees.com/cheap-podcast. And at Twitter, I'm at Voodoo, IGBN UUU. And if you want this madness at your place, email me, Don at theclubhousepodcast.com.
We love doing live shows and hanging out with the Empire. Email Don for that. You can email me questions, comments, concerns. Tell me to go pound sand. I am Rob at theclubhousepodcast.com. Charlotte Marshall is on Pinterest because we are morally obligated to say that. Our normal show every Sunday night, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific is your one-stop shop for all things sports, entertainment, and pop culture. So until next week, for Alex, for Don, for the Empire, I'm Rob, Clubhouse.